Hello and welcome to this video. So in this video I'm going to show you two things. The first is selective routing, which means you select which devices should be using the VPN and which devices should not be using the VPN to access the internet. And the second is a kill switch, which means all devices that use the VPN will get disconnected from the internet as soon as the VPN tunnel goes down. So you are always protected via VPN, or you won't have internet if the VPN doesn't work for a moment. Yeah, that's the two things that I'm going to show you. As you can see, I already pulled up my router menu and I selected VPN and OpenVPN clients. Now I'm assuming you already have your VPN client configured. Most VPN providers do also give you instructions on how to do it. And I will not cover that part in my tutorial. As you can see though, I have VPN Unlimited over here as my VPN provider. Those guys are fairly cheap, and if you ask them or if you write their support, you will also get your VPN data sent to you so that you can use it with OpenVPN. Otherwise they won't provide the data by default. Now the important settings over here are policy rules over there. Yeah, redirect internet traffic. So that's the important settings. Usually it's set to no, which doesn't mean that no traffic gets routed through the internet, but it says that the traffic the traffic handling is set by the server. So if the VPN provider says this traffic should be routed through the internet and this shouldn't be, you will use their settings on that. Yeah, you won't provide your own settings for routing. If you select all traffic, just all traffic gets routed. You override the settings that your VPN provider usually has, and you route all traffic. And the third option is policy rules. And policy rules is what you want, because only policy rules gives you this extra setting over here, which says block routed clients if tunnel goes down. And that's exactly what you want. So you can select, with policy rules, you can select single devices that should be routed through the internet, and all other devices won't, through the VPN, and all other devices won't be routed through the VPN. And if the internet goes down, if the VPN goes down, you won't be able to access the internet with those devices only. Now, I have my router configured in a way that only 2 devices in my network are using the VPN. The rest isn't using it. So those settings over here work for me. Usually you just select your IP address over there. You don't even have to enter a destination IP. Make sure interface is set to VPN, and then you add it to those settings over there, and boom, your device will be on the VPN from now on. You can also set the settings to no, of course, but then if you're, for example, doing something that is illegal in your country, or that perhaps the government would usually control, then you are not protected anymore through the VPN service once this goes down. Now, IP addresses change sometimes. They change because the router gives or assigns IP addresses to your devices via a DHCP server. And now when I go to LAN and to DHCP server, you can see that there is also an option for manual assignment. So all those things that I routed through the VPN, my MacBook here and this MacBook there, those are assigned manual IP addresses, which means those IP addresses never change for the device. This is important because once your IP address changes, you would otherwise be unprotected through the VPN settings, because those VPN settings over there only are configured for IP addresses. So if you want to add a device over here, you should also make its IP address static, which means you will need to assign it manually in the LAN and DHCP server settings. And once you have done that, you're good to go. One setting though over here that is still important if you want to route all devices through through your VPN is this settings over there. Is those settings over there. So if you have your router's IP address and your subnet mask over here, it should look something like this usually. Your IP address here can be something different, but usually if you didn't change anything, your subnet mask will be this. Now, for those guys who know how to change subnet masks, okay, that's easy, but what it actually does and why you would change a subnet mask, for those guys I won't have to explain the next step that I will show you. But for the rest, just know that if you have the exact same subnet mask as me, the next step of the tutorial will be equally the same for you. Now I get to my VPN settings over here, and let's say I don't want to route just specific clients and protect them with a kill switch, but I want to route all traffic through the VPN and still have the ability to control it with a kill switch. So block the routed clients if the traffic goes down. Now I could add every single device that I have on my network manually. But that gives me some trouble when I add a new device, or perhaps a guest is in my home and he just is there for a week or so, and I would have to add his IP address to this VPN settings here as well. So there is another option over here, and if you try to enter wrong IP address, actually, it will also show you this option. You can use the CIDR format, which is a format in this form over there. And as you could see, my router IP over here is 192.168.1.1. Now I just take everything but the last number and add it over here. 0.0. And now if I enter 24 after that, I will be able to cover all devices with just that settings. Now the essential part is this here. If you had a different subnet mask before, you will have to adjust this number over there. It's a little bit tricky to do that, but there is actually a great article on the Wikipedia page about subnet masks that just explains which numbers you would use over there for which subnet mask. It's a little bit difficult to calculate those, but for the normal user, he would usually just have the subnet mask that I just showed you. And for the advanced users, those will usually know how to adjust this number over there. And now I just add all devices and apply those settings. And then all traffic should be routed through the internet, through the VPN. Now, as you could see, I'm on a Mac Mini now, so I'm not on my MacBook. And there are sites like What is my IP, for example, that will show you your IP address. And I am in Germany at the moment, and before applying this setting, the router wasn't, this device was accessing the internet through Germany, and now it's using the VPN, and I'm in Luxembourg. So this setting here worked for my Mac Mini that I'm on at the moment. It will work for all other devices as well, of course. Now, depending on what you want, you would perhaps also want single devices to be able to access the internet directly. You could also do that. I could, for example, select my Apple TV now and choose the internet interface WAN, which means just wide area network. So it doesn't use the VPN, but routes to the internet directly. And then this would override this all setting just for the Apple TV, and I would be able to use the normal internet with my Apple TV. So depending on what you want to achieve, you have different options over there. And if you have any other questions that I didn't cover in this tutorial, please feel free to ask in the comments, or just drop me an email or a message on YouTube, and I will try to get back to you. I hope this video helped you, and if you liked it, please rate it. And if you didn't, please say why not. I would like to see you again soon on my channel. Goodbye.